Welcome to Tidbits, part of the Knowing Me podcast. Have you ever wondered what you have to give to God? I know for years I struggled with this. I often wondered what it was that I had to give to Him. I always dreamed that it would be something that would be fantastic. And yet when I looked at what I had, when I looked at my weaknesses, my pride, my dyslexia, my inability to write things down, not to read or to understand, but that problem between putting it from my brain to the page, I felt like a complete failure many times. I felt like I had nothing to give to Him. And it was just exciting to me to realize that He doesn't need a lot. He only needs what we give. And reading in Exodus, we have the story of the burning bush when Moses comes before God. The bush isn't being consumed. And then in chapter 4, God is going to show Moses the signs of His power. And He says to Moses, "What is that in your hand?" That's the question He asks. He doesn't say, "What do you want to give me? What do you think I need?" He says, "What do you have in your hand?" And Moses replies, "A shepherd's staff. A common everyday tool for working with sheep. A rod that can discipline, a staff that can save and pull the sheep up, a staff that can be used even to just support the tired body of the shepherd." It's just a common everyday piece of wood that shepherds used. And yet, when you go further on in chapter 4, and Moses went back home to Jethro, his father-in-law, and he said, "Please let me return to my relatives." And Jethro gives him his blessing. And Moses leaves, and it says, "So Moses took his wife and sons, put them on a donkey, and headed back to the land of Egypt. In his hand he carried the staff of God." Now, we don't know what happened between the beginning of chapter 4 and verse 20 of chapter 4. All we know is that that shepherd's staff has become the staff of God. Instead of being something that Moses used, it was something that God used. Like I said, I thought I needed to give God something spectacular. But He asks me the same question, and He asks you the same question that He asked of Moses. What's in your hand? What do you have in your hand? And when I look at this, I go, well, God, I've got a learning disability. I have dyslexia. Can you use that? I've got this fear that I will be rejected. Can you use that? So often what I have to give Him isn't something fantastic. It's something common. It's something that I'm even ashamed of. But He can take that, and it becomes not my weakness or my ability. It becomes His strength and His ability through that thing for me. So I ask you, I ask myself, what do you have in your hand today? What is it that you have that God can take and use? And it can not become our weakness or our ability. It can become His strength and His ability. It's not what we have. It's who we give what we have to. And it's how that person can take what we have and use it to glorify His name, use it to save the lives of others, just as He used the staff of God, the shepherd's staff of Moses, to demonstrate time after time after time His power, His presence, His love, His protection for the people of God. I'm wondering if there's something in your hand and in mine that if we give it to Him, He can do the exact same thing. Glorify His name, and in the process, make us more like Him. What do you have to offer to Him today? I hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next time.